Well, we've got another Tyler Perry accuser. We've got Meghan Markle losing yet another publicist, her 10th in the last 5 years. And yes, I did watch the newest episodes of Stranger Things, and we must discuss because I promised we were going to discuss. So now let's discuss. This is No Filter with Zack Peter, your go-to source for all the latest pop culture and reality TV tea, served fresh all week long. Now, let's dive in. And dive in we shall. What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in, welcome on in, welcome on in. Everybody in the club. Look at Danielle says, I was at my spirituality place this morning for a meditation and making vision boards for 2026 for 3 hours and still didn't finish now at the nail appointment. Well, Danielle, I'm glad that you're manifesting and preparing for 2026. We have a couple of days left in the new year. Yes, it is Sunday, and we normally don't have new episodes on Sundays, but I know I owed you a episode on Friday, which was after Christmas. We were live on Wednesday, and then there was a pre-record on Thursday, and then I was supposed to be live on Friday. And I'm sorry I wasn't live on Friday, but we're live here. We're making up for it. I'm giving you your weekly final episode of the week, and then we should be back to our regularly scheduled programming come this week. I am pretty sure I'll do a New Year's Day episode. Might be a pre-record, but yeah. Actually, we'll see what my schedule is going to be like for Thursday and Friday of this week, because Thursday is obviously New Year's Day, and then Friday, my brother's getting married, and I'm the best man. So I'm excited about that, but that's happening on Friday morning. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, need your thoughts on Stranger Things. So I'm just gonna tell you now, I'll do Stranger Things at the end of this episode. So if anybody still wants to like take time to watch Stranger Things or whatever, I'll have the Stranger Things commentary at the end of this episode. It'll be the last thing we cover. And then that way, we don't have to worry about spoilers or anything. But yes, we will need to definitely discuss Stranger Things, because like I've been obsessed with Stranger Things, and I've been like so looking forward to Stranger Things, and like yes, we definitely must discuss Stranger Things. But let's see, what do we want to start with? We have a few things to discuss today. Tyler Perry, Meghan Markle, and then of course Stranger Things, and these David Harbour rumors that have been going around, because that seems to be really unfortunate. He doesn't seem to be doing well. He plays Hopper in Stranger Things. He I guess was a police officer, or like a cop, a sheriff, and then now he's not, because he's like helping the kids fight Vecna. But so I guess we can start with Tyler Perry. So new allegations have come out against Tyler Perry, who we know Derek Dixon tried to sue him. Wait, is this? Yes, Derek Dixon tried to sue him a while back for he was on a TV show with him. He was promised like that his pilot was going to get greenlit and picked up, and then he was like, Tyler Perry promised me these favors and never gave them to me, and he kept coming on to me, and he kept sending me flirty text messages. And so that came out a few months ago, the Tyler Perry Derek Dixon stuff. I don't know where that case currently stands. I know Tyler Perry came out and was like, that's totally bogus and that's not a real thing, yada yada yada. But now we have new allegations from an actor. His name is Mario Rodriguez. He was in the Halloween Madea movie, Boo, a Madea Halloween. And he has launched a $77 million lawsuit against Tyler Perry. He claims that Tyler Perry made a number of unwanted advances towards him between 2016 and 2019. So it's interesting. Tyler has responded, and he said it's yet another demand from more than a decade ago, which will also be a failed money grab. He didn't appear to be like a main actor on the set. I kind of looks like a side character. I mean, and here's the thing, like he could have probably hit on him. I don't know. Let's see. According to People magazine, it says the complaint alleges multiple instances when Perry would invite Rodriguez over to his home under the guise of discussing future work projects, only to make sexual advances while drinking. In November 2018, Perry allegedly grabbed his penis, and Rodriguez repeatedly told Mr. Perry to stop, and Rodriguez had to physically struggle to get away. Perry allegedly would tell him to let it happen, and if you would just be with me, I would take care of you. Rodriguez's lawsuit claims that after 2 incidents, Perry allegedly apologized and handed him $5,000 and sent him away. A payoff. At a final, I don't know. These allegations are starting to come out and be more and more believable. I mean, 77 million is a lot. Derek Dixon, like, they're suing for these big numbers, and obviously when you're in a lawsuit, you put a big price tag on it in hopes to settle somewhere in the middle. Derek Dixon went away. I wonder if he got paid off. I wonder what happened. It seems he got some publicity. He could have gotten paid off. As far as I'm aware, I don't know if that lawsuit has continued. Well, let's learn about more about Mario, because so it says there was a final alleged encounter in April of 2019. More than ever, it was clear that Mr. Perry would do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, to whomever he wanted, no matter how many times he was rejected. I don't really like the sound of that. That sounds kind of crazy. It says the lawsuit claims that Tyler Perry would randomly reach out to Rodriguez through 2024. And when Perry became aware that Rodriguez was going to file this action, Perry once again reached out to him by text and did so much, telling him that he did so much to help Rodriguez and he was feeling betrayed. Again, I need to understand the nature of their relationship. So in an Instagram video, Rodriguez spoke out about feeling scared and ashamed, explaining why he hadn't previously come forward, though he did not mention Perry by name, obviously, because you don't want to get sued for defamation if you're lying. But he says that it was a powerful director that everybody knows. Everybody's gonna know. Actually, let's
about the news that I mentioned a couple days ago. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about sexual assault and harassment.
First of all, the fact that he's wearing sunglasses in this and he's like a cool guy, I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical. It's just, I don't, first of all, why would you even do a video if you weren't trying to like push engagement?
And why do people stay silent? For a long time, guys, I didn't want to say anything. And I want to tell you guys why I didn't want to say anything. But when it happened to me, I felt ashamed. I was scared because of the judgment and the questions that people were going to start asking, almost like they were going to blame me for just being there. Well, I felt all of that, guys, when a very big director, very seriously.
The fact that he keeps saying guys, you guys, like, it's very influencer-y. It's very engagement fishy, my personal opinion.
Powerful person that everybody knows invited me over to his house to talk about roles and upcoming things that he was writing. I was telling myself, like, man, like, all of my dreams are coming true right now. Like, my opportunities at my front door right now.
Is he holding a microphone in his hand? Is that a microphone?
So much excitement going through my body. And then, guys, it happens. You know, my boundaries were crossed. You feel like this person feels like they got power over you because of the situation and the opportunity that presented itself in front of you. And then and how fear can somewhat keep you quiet and keep you silent. Well, I stayed quiet for much too long. And I just want to say I'm really sorry, man, because if I would have spoken up sooner, I could have saved somebody that this probably happened to after me. I just want to say sorry for that, whoever that may be. It could have stopped with me if I would have said something. But I do apologize, and I'm speaking up now and getting it out there and talking about it, most importantly, then so be it. And I just want to apologize once again, guys, because I'm sorry I can't really talk about more than what I've talked about right now, but I will be giving you guys an update very soon about the whole situation that happened in detail. So stay tuned. And thank you guys for hearing me out. I appreciate it.
Oh, peace.
Hello, everyone.
There's nothing like listen to my sexual assault story. Peace. Thanks for listening, guys. I don't know. I I I like to be skeptical. I like to look at things objectively. I also want to acknowledge that this doesn't look good for Tyler Perry. Like, this is the second guy. It kind of seems, and we saw the Derek text messages from the last lawsuit, that it seems like Tyler Perry is a very flirty guy. He's hitting on these guys that are hired to work for him. I don't think that that's good. I don't think that that is good. And I said this with the Derek Dixon thing and how it was different because Tyler Perry is somebody of prestige, power, money. Like, Tyler Perry is absolutely somebody that has influence and can influence careers. He can do a lot. Or he can do a lot to help your career. He can do a lot in the opposite to hurt your career as well. So I understand the fear. I understand the reluctancy to speak out against him. I understand the, feeling like you need to appease the director because he's promising to push your projects forward. And that could be a thing that he was doing of like, well, come over and hang with me and let's get into the Speedos and let's get into the hot tub and like I'll look over your script. Like, stuff like that does happen in Hollywood quite often. And the more we're hearing about this, like it looks like Tyler Perry was inappropriate. Now, there is then a difference between inappropriate and influencing your power and essay, right? Like, there are differences to those things. And I think that's where it gets a little tricky. Tyler is absolutely loaded. It feels like that's the only reason why. I mean, that's also a very strong possibility that this could all be a cash grab. Maybe these were consensual encounters, but even if they were consensual encounters, it's still highly inappropriate for Tyler Perry to be engaging with these dudes regardless. Now, I will say Derek Dixon did his like full sit down news interview. I didn't like the vibes from this video. And I know that sounds very Candace O&E of like, the vibes were off. I don't like the vibes of this Mario guy in the video that he was doing. He's like wearing sunglasses and he's like, I'm telling my story and like peace. And like, to me, that's just kind of weird. Like, if this was truly as traumatizing as you're making it out to be, and it's not about the money, and this is about justice, and this is about doing the right thing, then I think there's a level of respect and decorum that you can have in sharing your story. Isn't this basically grooming? I don't know. What is the official definition for grooming? It's a term that abusers use to prepare a victim for exploitation, in some cases financial exploitation. Manipulative and deceptive process used by abusers to prepare a victim for exploitation. Possibly, right? Is that? Yeah, I mean, I guess it's calculated, it's manipulative, it's a way of, trying to use your power and influence to get what you want. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I had questions about Derek, even if Derek Dixon was in some way complicit or willing or whatever, I think Tyler Perry was still in the wrong because what he did was still highly inappropriate. You shouldn't be fooling around with the actors. You shouldn't be making them promises in exchange for sexual favors. It's very much not. Yeah, it does look like Octavia. He had a mic. That was the part that for me with this new guy, Mario, because it also kind of feels like, well, Derek Dixon came out and he told his story and he's filing his lawsuit and he's trying to get all this money out of Tyler Perry, who they think, will likely settle and just pay them off just to like make it go away. And then you have a situation like this Mario guy who's like, oh, well, it also happened to me. Like, when we see the figures that Derek is throwing around, and Mario could be like, well, I also kind of, was in some prickly situations with Tyler Perry. Maybe this is an opportunity for me to jump in on this as well. I don't know. It's hard because you really do have to question people's motives after Amber Heard and Blake Lively. And the more we're learning about these types of big cases, like, it's unfortunate that we then have to look at everything through such a more critical lens where we do judge people and we do judge how they're choosing to tell their stories. I mean, this guy going and fishing, in my opinion, fishing for engagement on Instagram, wearing sunglasses and throwing up peace signs as he's trying to talk about this traumatic experience for him. I don't know. It just kind of. Ariana says Mario sitting in a tight sweater, sunglasses, and casually talking about SA is not doing what he thinks it is. Yeah. Thanks for listening to me, guys. Peace. Like, it's just. again, I don't want to judge him, but if your case is built on the trauma that you've experienced and you believe that you're entitled to compensation, like at least Derek was saying he got fired, after what was it, the Oval? Derek said that he lost his job by rejecting Tyler Perry's advances and also lost the rights to his pilot because he gave the rights to Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry was supposed to produce something. So at least Derek has a case of there are financial damages. There are losses that he can probably prove that he experienced as a result of turning down Tyler Perry, and there was retaliation, right? His pilot wasn't picked up, it wasn't pushed through. Now you have to get into, well, like, was there an official contract? Was there an implied contract? What was the agreement? Were there favors in exchange for certain things that were supposed to be done? There are details in that, but I think Derek clearly has a stronger case from what we've heard so far. Not that I'm saying this case is legit or not legit, but I'm just saying he can actually prove that there were damages based off of the things that he was promised and wasn't formally given, and the fact that after, seemingly not going all the way with Tyler Perry, he lost his job. Duh, 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 duh. It says that okay, so April 2019 was the last encounter that Mario is reporting, and he's saying in his lawsuit, and he says more than ever before, it was clear that Mr. Perry would do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, to whomever he wanted, no matter how many times he was rejected. The lawsuit claims that Perry would randomly reach out to Rodriguez through 2024, and when Perry became aware, he said he felt betrayed. Yep. December 13 Instagram video. Yep, we watched that. I stayed quiet for much too long. Yep, we saw that. We saw the peace signs and the sunglasses and the little tight sweater. Dixon, who starred in Perry's series The Oval, filed a $260 million lawsuit against Perry in June, alleging harassment, assault, retaliation, which the filmmaker denies. In September, one of Perry's lawyers, Matthew Boyd, claimed Dixon is an individual who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than setting up a scam. And he added at the time, Tyler will not be shaken down, and we are confident these fabricated claims of harassment will fail. We'll have to see. All of the evidence has to be presented, and ultimately it'll be determined whether or not the claims of harassment are legit or not legit. Was, Derek Dixon also, leading him on? Were they in a openly consensual relationship? Was Derek intentionally doing these things so that he could, maybe kind of play with Tyler and say, well, if he ever does anything, then that's something I hold in my back pocket that I could always lodge these allegations against him. But now we have Mario who's suing for 77 million. We'll see. I don't like the way Mario was doing this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for talking regardless. So do you regardless. Happy Saturday. He just posted that in his Instagram stories yesterday. Do you? Listen, I want to believe him, but I'm also skeptical. We'll have to see how it all plays out. Lori says, I had a terrible situation at one of my jobs 35 years ago. You just had to change jobs. Well, I mean, that's not the solution either. I'm sorry that happened to you, Lori, but that's not the solution either, is to just change jobs. Dotbo says, this is a new story, but did the event happen before or after the first guy? It sounds like it happened around the same time. When was Boo a Medea Halloween? That was in 2016. So the fact that they stayed in contact, the film came out in 2016, and it says that the allegations were between 2016 and 2019. That's interesting that the movie came out in 2016. Hold on, let's break it down. It appears that was the only Medea film that he starred in. But so the allegations claim that this happened in 2016, but he stayed in contact with him after the movie, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. So they stayed in contact, and he continued to encounter with Tyler Perry for 3 years following the movie's release. Also highly questionable. I don't know. What are Derek against Tyler Perry? Let's see. And then Derek Dixon. Let's get this timeline. Derek Dixon, it was 200 million. But I want to know when he claims that this happened. Notable context. Dixon also filed an Equal Employment Opportunity Commission complaint in 2024. Interesting. So then he does have a much stronger case. If in 2024 he filed a complaint and says that there was no action done as a result of that complaint, and then in 2025, a year later, decided to then launch a lawsuit against him, I think Derek Dixon has a strong case against Tyler Perry. Again, whether it was, he was the one that was preying on Tyler because he knows he has money, I can't really speak to that, but I do think Derek Dixon has a much stronger case against Tyler Perry than this Mario Rodriguez guy. Unfortunately. Yeah, he claimed. I remember he was like, I would go over to his house and I was in my underwear, and then he would like grab my butt. And there were like all of those things, and he was like really flirty in text messages, and it appeared that like he didn't really take the bait. Derek didn't. So, I mean, it is quite interesting to see where this goes from here. But I don't know. Let's see. The Oval. He was in two projects. One of them was The Oval. And The Oval looks like it premiered in 2019. So it seems to have been after Mario. So Mario was first, and then Derek came in 2019. Yeah, and I believe Derek's timeline is 2019 to like 2023, maybe 2024. And I think he was like just holding out to see if there would actually be some sort of, movement in his pilot that he wanted Tyler to put out there. Let's see. It would be very scary to go after Tyler Perry or Oprah. I believe this victim until we see evidence to contradict claims. Well, I mean, we should also be able to see evidence that prove the allegation. Like Derek Dixon came to the table with text messages of the messages that he was exchanging with Tyler Perry, where you can see that Tyler Perry was very much hitting on him and Derek was not taking the bait. Again, the burden of evidence is on the accuser, not on the accused. So, unfortunately, in this case, you have to see evidence that proves their claims against Tyler Perry or Oprah in this, specific instance, because they're the ones that are required to provide the burden of proof because they're the ones that are making the allegations. Just like Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni doesn't have to provide evidence to prove he didn't do it. She first has to provide evidence to prove that these claims and these allegations are actually real. Ariana says Derek had tangible loss plus text messages, still waiting for more info, but Derek led with at least some receipts. And now that we're finding out this complaint in 2024, which we may have discussed it when we first covered this case over the summer, but like that's a strong case. You filed a complaint, you wanted action to be taken, no action was done. A year later, you're ready to drop the text messages. That's where I think the motivation, I tend to be a little more, it seems to be a little more believable for me there. I do think when it's a guy on guy, it's a bit more credible versus Blake Lively because it cause for a straight man. It's embarrassing to admit. Yeah, I do agree with that. There's an element of shame when it's, a man that's being essayed versus a woman. I think it's a little different. Maybe because they think they're invincible. I mean, possibly. And we see these people empower other people's career, they can destroy someone so easily. Yeah, I agree. There's more of an incentive in this case. Tyler Perry had power. Tyler Perry had, the ability to make or break someone's career. So I understand why people would want to be quiet. But again, we have to wait to see where this unfolds and if there is any evidence that can prove these claims. That's kind of the crazy part that we're in. Laura says there is more of a paper trail, though. With Derek, yes, from what we're seeing, there isn't anything but an allegation, a couple of allegations from Mario, but also Derek worked on a TV show that Tyler Perry produced. So it would make sense as to why Derek would continue to try to appease Tyler Perry as his boss because he was continuing to work for Tyler Perry. He had a job that was getting renewed every season. There was an incentive to try to appease his boss, right? Whereas with Mario worked on one film and the film was in 2016. So why were you still engaging with him through 2019? Did you file any reports? Do you have text messages? Like, can you prove, that this, because Derek can make the case that, like, well, I had this job, I was an actor. And to be fair, Derek has a strong case because he was fired from that job when he fully rejected Tyler Perry. Very different. But also, if Tyler's willing to do this to Derek, who's to say he hasn't done this to Mario as well? I'm just saying, from the case that we've seen so far, it's really challenging to decipher what's true and what's not yet. Special case says, I'm watching my husband go through a long process with HR and the complaint process and the lawyers. It takes a long time to go through the process. Right. And if this started back in 2016, then again, the process should have been started back then, number one. And number two, you only worked with him for a finite amount of time. It was a select amount of time on one film. You weren't cast in multiple films to continue to work with him. And even if you were cast in multiple films, you don't have to continue to work in these films if this guy is such a bad guy. Derek, on the other hand, was contracted for a television show. And when the show gets renewed, a lot of the times you don't have the option to get out of your contract. So Derek was in a very different situation where Derek's story, one, is more believable, and two, I think, there's a lot more to it there. Okay. But on that note, let's take a quick break because I want to give some love to this week's sponsors. We love our sponsors. Well, as you know, Nutrafol is one of my favorite new brands. I definitely make sure I take my capsules of Nutrafol every day, and I kind of feel like I've been starting to see the difference. Nutrafol is the number one dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months. Especially if you want to zhuzh up your confidence in the new year, this is a great way to do that. You can give yourself the gift of confidence. I know Christmas and Hanukkah may be over, but we're still starting off the new year. We can still make an investment in ourselves if you want to treat yourself to visibly healthier, thicker hair. It's the gift that keeps on giving. You're going to look better. You're going to feel better. Your hair is going to look and feel stronger. So if you want to end the year off on a good note and start your new year off on the right foot, right now Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month's subscription plus free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and use the promo code NOFILTER. That's Nutrafol, Nutrafol, Nutrafol.com, promo code NOFILTER for $10 off. Go and lock in that good hair. Becky with the good hair, hey. Becky. She's got that good hair. We love it. And also, listen. I know you may have heard of HelloFresh. It's only the number one meal kit in America, making home cooking easier with chef-crafted recipes and fresh ingredients delivered straight to your door. But this fall, they're serving up even more to love. This isn't the HelloFresh that you remember. It's bigger because HelloFresh has doubled its menu. It's healthier because you can now choose from 15 plus high protein recipes each week with options like grass-fed ribeyes and lamb chops. Plus, they can also help you eat greener with new veggie packed recipes that have 2 or more veggies per dish. And it's tastier. You can get steak and seafood recipes delivered every week at no extra cost now with 3 times the seafood options to choose from. Savor the season with hearty fall recipes like beef chili or honey glazed pork tenderloin. Yum. I love the convenience of it. I love that it takes the guesswork out of having to decide what's for dinner, what I'm going to cook, what I need to get at the market, looking up a recipe, figuring out what ingredients I need to get. Like, it's everything all done for you to make your life easier, to make your life more efficient. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/NoFilter10FM now to get 10 free meals. And you get free breakfast for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discounts on your first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/NoFilter10FM to get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. HelloFresh.com/NoFilter10. Okay, let's talk about Meghan Markle. Oof, Meghan Markle. So, Meghan has lost yet another publicist. So things aren't looking too hot for Meghan and Harry. So their most recent publicist, her name is Meredith Maines. She's stepping down. I think she's only been there for like less than a year. But it's crazy because she issued a statement basically saying that her work concluded with the Archwell Foundation and she's grateful for their contributions. She wishes them well. This is the 10th publicist that they've had in the last 10 years, which is just wild. Wild. And that's since leaving the royal family. Last 5 years, they're like, we're Meghan and Harry, we're free from the royal family. And then they continue to make themselves appear worse and worse. So there was that Vanity Fair article that profiled Meghan and Harry and all, and the mass exodus of staff. And I mean, we've been hearing that she's difficult and hard to work with and mean to her staff. And it just appears that more people that depart working for them, like that's kind of something that they, you know, it kind of seems like a them problem. I feel like Meghan probably is the nightmare that people have described her as, right? I mean, she was called a demon. She was in there was an Us Weekly article that painted her as, having psycho moments, a dictator in heels. Remember they had a nickname for her. What was the nickname? Holly, Molly? It was something based off of like the Queen Bee movie, whatever the main character's name was. That's what they called her. Heather, something like that. And so, yeah, it appears it's a publicity nightmare. I agree, Laura. A publicity nightmare. Um, J Tor says that seems a bit crazy, but not surprising at all. Megan gives me narcissistic vibes. Yep. I heard a creator speak highly of Nutrafol, even though they weren't a sponsor. Nutrafol is great. I highly recommend it. I think Meghan doesn't listen to her publicist. I think that's what it is Meghan thinks she knows better, but she also tries to hire these. No, I think it's unrealistic expectations and she doesn't like to listen. I can see Meghan Markle as the type of client that brings someone on and she's like, these are my goals and this is what I want. And then when you're not quickly achieving those goals because your client just doesn't reach that caliber, and granted, if you're hiring somebody for that, then they should be able to do that job or don't take on that job. But I can also see Meghan as somebody that is just extremely difficult to work with. And it's like, I want this, give me this, give me this, give me this. And it's constantly like pushing and bulldozing and trying to get you to give them what they want. And in the end, I just don't think it goes well because you can't deliver. Same Blake Lively energy. And so you have like Blake Lively in her situation, looks like her attorneys are appeasing her in this Justin Baldoni legal drama. And so when it comes to when it comes to Meghan Markle, I kind of feel like it's probably the same thing. They try their best to appease her as best as they can. But then when you have like these pieces that come out in Vanity Fair, and like if a publicist can't kill a story, maybe they're not a great publicist. But also, if your client's reputation is so far beyond that, you have to learn how to navigate your client's expectations and maybe try to help your client not be a bitch, you know? But also, you can't really help your client if your client's a bitch. Kind of just as deep as it gets, as far as it goes. Let's see. Okay, let's talk about Stranger Things because I know a lot of us raise your hand if you watched Stranger Things over the weekend. Yes, there are going to be some spoilers ahead, but how are we feeling about Stranger Things? Because this has been reportedly. Well, first, I want you to decide. Did you like the 3 episodes? Did you not like the 3 episodes? We had the first 4 that dropped on Thanksgiving. We had 3 that dropped on Christmas. And now we have the big 2.5-hour grand finale, series finale that's coming New Year's Eve, which I'm very, very excited about. Let's just confirm Stranger Things finale is the 31st. Yes, just to confirm it is the 31st. Okay, because I want to first say this. I was very disappointed or not disappointed, but I just want to say I woke up on Christmas Eve. I was like doing things and I was like, oh, perfect. This is when Stranger Things is coming out. And then I went and I checked only to find out that it did not come out on Christmas Eve. It comes out on Christmas Day. But I was like, well, but typically when it says that it comes out on Thursday or it comes out on Wednesday, usually that means midnight. And so when it means midnight, then that means like it's available earlier if you're on the West Coast because it has to air on East Coast time. So we get access a couple of hours early, right? And so I assumed at least by the end of the day on New Year's Eve, Stranger Things would be available. No, that was not the case. So I was like, okay, fine. I got it wrong. It says Christmas Day. We have to wait till Christmas Day. Fine, whatever. I get up, I wake up early, I'm trying to clean the kitchen, I make my coffee, I'm getting ready, I even have like a little wine. I don't think I drank wine at that point, but I had my wine ready if I wanted to drink a little wine by like episode 2 or 3, because these were the 3 big episodes that were going to be leading us into the big grand finale. I go and I turn on Netflix and I'm going. And then I go to watch it. And then it says it's not available until 5 p.m. And I was like, what the shit is that? What do you mean it's not available until 5 p.m.? What do you think I just fell out of a coconut tree? When you tell me it comes out on a day, then it comes out on that day. I don't want to be, I have to wait until 5 p.m., 8 o'clock Eastern. So if you're on the East Coast, you have to wait even later. Crazy, wackadoodle. No, I was so mad. I was like, oh, I got up early. I cleaned the apartment. I was so excited. I had my coffee ready. I even postmated some breakfast. It was also very terrible breakfast, but I thought it was going to be good. But not many things are open for breakfast on Christmas Day. I was very, very displeased that I had to wait until 5 p.m. So I was like, well, I guess I'm going to have to go do all my Christmas stuff with my family. First, I woke up early for nothing. And so now I have to go spend Christmas with my family, and then I'll come home and then I'll watch it later. And then I came home and I turned it on, and the first episode was kind of crazy. It picks up where the last one left off, and obviously spoilers ahead, where the last one left off, and that's where Will has powers, and it's like, oh my God, he accepted himself, he believes in himself, now he has powers. Okay, cool, got it. He's gay, he loves that he's gay, got it. And then we get into the first episode of the 3, and I thought it was good, right? There was some action, there was a little bit of tension, there was motion. We have Nancy, and Nancy goes and she shoots up at the sky, and that's when, what's his name? Dustin, he finds the book, and we have a cute moment between Dustin and Steve, and oh my God, Dustin and Steve, they just have the cutest relationship, and they're going, we're going to win, right? We're going to take down Vecna, and we're going to fight the underground, and blah, blah, blah. And then Dustin finds the book, and he starts looking through the book and studying the book and realizing that there's like, I don't know if it's a black hole or a wormhole or what, but there's another world, and then there's the underground, which is with Earth, and Vecna's whole plan is he wants to merge the two together. He's trying to merge worlds to create a new world. It's my understanding. And so now, before we even get into that, we had a lot of theories coming into these 3 episodes. Remember, last time we were like, oh my God, Vecna's not the bad guy. There's got to be an even bigger bad guy. And what's going on with the Mind Flayer, right? The Mind Flayer is that spider thing, right? It's the spider. And we're like, okay, that's the real monster. That's the real big bad. Remember, we were saying big A, uber A, like Pretty Little Liars. Like you have A and then you have uber A. So we were thinking that there was like an uber A. There's someone else. There's another 12. There's another Papa. There's another something that created all these children of the corn. Well, it turns out it doesn't appear anybody else has created these children of the corn. They really were. It was Vecna. He was number 1. He had these powers, but we don't remember. Do we remember how he got the powers? I don't remember. It's also been like 10 years of watching the show that I can't remember every little detail. And we need to like do a lot of flashbacks to kind of keep us up. But anyway, we didn't really learn anything about the Mind Flayer, to my understanding. And Vecna really does appear to be the bad guy, and he just wants to merge the 2 worlds to create a new world. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. But like, people were coming up with some really crazy, wild theories. Nobody dies. Also, let's be clear about that in these 3 episodes, because we were like, oh my God, there have to be some big deaths. Something big is going to be happening. We liked Delightful Derek, and I don't know if I enjoyed Delightful Derek in these 3. I mean, I don't know. I liked him better in the last 4 more than I did these 3. I'm hopeful that Delightful Derek is going to be like a secret spy, like a double agent, and he's going to be pretending to be helping Vecna, but he's really not helping Vecna. And then the Holly, let's just be clear. Holly is not very likable. Like you're not rooting for her. There aren't many, like at least Delightful Derek, he has some qualities that are a little, redeeming, and he won you over. Holly does nothing for me. Like, I can't be bothered by this girl. And I'm like, why are we making her like the one that's going to save the world when like I don't really understand whatever. But so the biggest, I guess, bits that we got are Vecna's plan, which again doesn't really explain what that giant spider was. And also, people were looking at the Dungeons and Dragons, and there's a dragon, or there's a guy on a dragon. There's something to do with I think there's like a hidden dragon somewhere. Maybe that's a dragon that's in the other world. I don't know. I will just say this: these 3 episodes were good. They were fine. They were too long. They were way too long. Okay, so Marie says, I think Mind Flayer is still controlling Vecna. Also, I think number 8 will be the spy. And okay, yes, I agree. I doubt. Okay, so we're all in agreement that we think Delightful Derek is playing a double agent. Cool. The Mind Flayer is controlling Vecna. That's what we thought, but I don't know if these episodes, like, they really made it seem like Vecna really is the big bad guy that we have to take down. So maybe there is a plot twist in the finale that shows that the Mind Flayer is really the one that's controlling Vecna, and Vecna had no control and no power. Number 11. No, that's not her name. She's not number 8. Sister, right? Because she's like, sister, and we have to take down brother. I don't like that bitch. I don't like number 8. I don't like sister. I don't trust sister. Sister is going to try and kill 11. She's going to do something. Like, well, I don't know if sister is like secretly working for Vecna, or if sister thinks that the only way to end all of this is to just kill them all, right? Like, let's just all go out with a bang. So I'm a little nervous about sister and the damage that sister is going to do, and how, I think she wants all the children of the corn dead. And so I think she thinks she's doing that for the right reasons, but I'm skeptical because I also think sister might have something tied in with the government. And maybe the story that she told 11 about how the government captured her, maybe that wasn't the real story. Maybe sister needed to be captured because she was a bad girl, and the government was like, we need to control her. And then while we're controlling her, we need to use her. I don't know. I have questions. Everything's still kind of up in the air. But so the most exciting part, I would say, was Max wakes up and gets out of the coma. I thought that was great. Nancy, when she shot the thing, because Dustin's reading the notebook, he's like, oh no, if Nancy shoots the thing, we're all gonna die. And then Nancy goes and she shoots the thing into she shoots the sky. And then, I mean, luckily they didn't all die, but then, that was exciting. And I was like, damn it, Nancy, like, Nancy's pissing me off. And so, yes, I was down for that action, but it was just too long. Like, Nancy and Jonathan stuck in the melting room, too long. And also, I'm going to say something a little controversial here. The Will Gay scene, too long. We don't need him coming out for 25 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, first of all, we get it. He's gay. We knew he was gay since the beginning, right? Like, and then we're slowly seeing him come into his own. And he's starting to have feelings. Okay. And like, they're walking us through all of this. And like, well, okay, we're putting the coming out story together. Okay. I get it. Oh, and then he realizes, oh, and then he accepts himself and he has powers. And then, oh, and then now we have this big giant coming out scene. I'm like, do we really need this big giant coming out scene? Like, it's 2025. Like, I get it. This is the 80s, and in the 80s you have a big coming out scene, but it just felt like we're dragging that on way too long. I don't care about Robin's lesbian girlfriend nurse thing. Like, I don't care about her. Like, she seems annoying, and like, we don't know Robin enough, and we're not emotionally invested in Robin enough to spend so much time on her loving this nurse girl that we don't even really know or get to meet or like. And like, she's helpful to a degree, but I just like, there's so many other, like, it didn't need to be this long, and we didn't need to invest in all these subplots. Like, I'm invested in the Vecna and the Mind Flayer and the world ending. Like, give me that story. What did Vecna do to Will? What is he trying to do to the world? Like, all of these 3 episodes were over an hour, well over an hour. The finale is 2.5 hours, and I'm telling you, they better do something good with that finale. They better do something good with that finale, Duffer Brothers, or I'm not going to be happy about this. Jader says, I also think number 8 is up to no good, and I'm bummed with Delightful Derek. I think that Delightful Derek is going to be a secret double agent. Was the coming out story needed? I mean, I get why they did it, but like, it really wasn't that necessary, in my opinion, as somebody that is gay. I was like, okay, cool. Like, and listen, it was a beautiful scene, right? And he's like, oh, I'm still like you. And I'm like, and we felt the emotion. And like, it was a great scene. A little too long and a little too invested in like that plot line of like Will being gay. Cause I'm like, how does that advance the plot at all? I mean, I get it, accepting yourself, and the more you accept yourself, the more you find your power. And I get the underlying message, but it just feels like we're really pushing the Will being gay part just a little too hard, just a bit much. And the Nancy and Jonathan, I don't like the Nancy, and they were in that damn melting room way too damn long. And I'm just like, we didn't need to spend this much time with them in the melting room. And I get it, you're building tension because he's going to propose to her. Sure. But like, it dragged on, and the scenes were just way too long. I did the same thing, got so annoying that I had to wait, right? Christina said, I've either been with family or modding someone else's channel. Thankful for being able to be I have to mod this live so I could get some downtime. Love you, Christina. Isaac says he had to come out in front of everyone because Vecna used that against him and he's the OG vessel and it's important to the plot. I get it. It's very gay. It's so gay. It's like, not that there's anything wrong with being gay and like, I get it. It just, to me, I think the scenes themselves just felt too long. That if we had just kind of tightened them up a little bit and maybe invested a little less into some of these side plots, like the whole Will becoming who he is and finding something, like, I mean, I understand how Vecna was using that against him, and that's why he needed to come out to them so that they wouldn't abandon him. But if they were going to abandon him, like at least he was able to come out now, and then Vecna had nothing on him. I get the point. It was just, maybe my thing is the episodes were too long and it was too dragged and it was just like kind of unnecessary, if you ask me, you know? A lot of pressure on Nancy. I know there's always a lot of pressure on Nancy. Nancy normally does good, but she could have taken us out. Special Case says the world is ending. Time is running out. Just keep dialogue short and sweet and save the world. Thank you. We're on the same page. Short, sweet, to the point. Like the world is ending, you know? Just because there's only 3 hours left in the world doesn't mean we have to watch every single second of those 3 hours. And not just every single second of those 3 hours, but then every single second from this angle, and then every single second with what's going on over here, and them, you know, and 11 and her sister, and then Hopper, and Hopper doesn't want to let go of 11, and then, you know, Winona Ryder doesn't want to let go of Will, but Will's like worried about Vecna and he built the tunnels. And then Robin has her lesbian girlfriend, and then Will's in love with Mike, and Mike, you know, is trying to find his sister, and then Holly is lost in the upside down, and then we have Delightful Derek. Like it's just there's too much going on, and there are too many things. And then we have the guy with the glasses, the Russian spy guy, and he's, you know, he's helping them, and we have a lot of like scenes with him, and it's just there are too many people and there's too much going on, and we're trying to invest in everybody's stories, and we don't need all that. And listen, I like Mrs. Wheeler because she comes and keeps trying to save the day, but like Mrs. Wheeler, I mean, we could have cut back her camera time a little bit, but to be fair, when Mrs. Wheeler comes in, we have her in limited little bouts, and when she comes in with a bang, and there's no wasted time with Mrs. Wheeler. When she's there, she's there. She's drinking wine, she's breaking bottles, and she's like, let's go, you know? Mike is just Will's Tammy. But is anything going to come of that? Like, we're not going to see Will and Mike together. Will and Mike are not going to get together. Like, I don't think, I know that that's a theory that people are like, they're end game, they're going to get together. No, I think you want Will to go with Mike, but I don't think Will and Mike will end up together in the end. But I also don't think Will and 11 are going to end up together in the end. I think 11's going to die, and I think Sister is going to be a catalyst in a lot of that. But I think 11's going to have to die. I think 11 and Vecna and maybe Sister and maybe Will all have to come together and fight together. I don't know. But then maybe all the children in the corn are going to get powers the way Will got powers. Or not the children in the corn, but like the new children that Vecna is capturing. Maybe the fact that he's using them, they're then going to be able to use their powers the same way Will is able to use their powers. And maybe they're going to be able to control Vecna and then use Vecna against the Mind Flayer. If that ends up being the theory that's right, and all the captured, kidnapped kids end up turning into Wills, and they all are gay, and then we're all like, you know, LGBTQ power, and then they use that to turn Vecna against the Mind Flayer, and then you have 11 and Vecna and Will and number 8. If number 8 cooperates, we don't know. She's still a little dicey and up in the air, uncertain, but possibly. I thought the science-y parts in Vecna's story were interesting, but they didn't explain very well. I want more info. Yes, I agree. The science-y parts, I didn't fully understand. Like, I got the concept, but I didn't fully understand it. It just feels like there's a lot of exposition, you know? I never watched it, but I love watching Zack explain it. There's just a lot to it, you know? Mimir, it was very nice, but also exhausting. Thank you. How was you? Oh, are you not listening to me, Christina? I know it was a bigger deal in the 80s, but you have a 2025 audience watching it. It's not going to hit the same. That's my point, Ariana. Again, I get it that it's based in the 80s and like it's a big moment and like, you know, this is a bigger deal in the 80s than it is now. But you're right. We're watching it in 2025. It's not slapping the way that it needs to slap. People did like it though. I'm very worried that they're going to kill Steve. Everyone's worried that they're going to kill Steve, but at this point, I kind of feel like killing Steve would be way too obvious that maybe they're not going to kill Steve. I hope so, Zach. That would make a good ending. Yeah. I always love the way Zach explains things that I know nothing about. Is the Axel character a small role in this story? Who's Axel? Vecna, like this name only is strange. Yeah. Okay. Isaac says they all have powers. That's the reason Will had to come out. He needed to reach his full potential. Those kids will too when they get rid of Vecna, is using them for the control. Yes. They're going to see Will is going to show them that they have powers too. They just have to be brave. And I get that, like, that was a big part of his story. Like, they need to be brave. He needs to be brave. And when I'm brave and I'm not afraid, then I get to have my power. And then all the kids, I think, will likely, I don't think Vecna will have a heart and be able to like fight the Mind Flayer together. Um, yeah. But I also think number 8 thinks that Vecna and 11 both need to die because they're too powerful. Tanya says, I'm going to start talking about this with my daughter. Like, I know what's happening based off of Zach's opinion. Sister, children of the corn, you're hilarious. Thank you, Gabrielle. That's just how I can explain it. But the children of the corn are the children that were like the government experiments that have powers and they can like destroy the world, right? And then they're the kidnapped children, which I guess the kidnapped children are now about to become the children of the corn because now through Vecna they're going to get power. But now it's starting to see. Remember how the government was trying to take the blood out of number 8, sister, and put it into the pregnant ladies with all the bellies, and they were hoping that the blood would be able to make their babies also children of the corn, but it kept failing and it wasn't working. And maybe it's not the blood that needs to be infused into the pregnant ladies, but maybe it's the way he gets the kids and then he puts, he like feeds off of them in some way. I don't know. Axel is the weird looking dude in the mohawk. Oh, didn't he die? Is he? No, Eddie's the one that died with the hair. Who has the mohawk? I don't know. I don't think so. If Hopper hates her, why should we care about her? She's up to something. Exactly. They're also making it a little obvious. In the 80s, the children of the corn were literally in the cornfields. Yes, I know that. I know what the children of the corn are. So we'll see. But I do feel like it's a little long. It's a little dragged. I didn't feel fully satiated by these 3 episodes. Like, if anything, it made me want to watch the finale. Like, now I'm ready to watch the finale. Let's see what the critics are saying. Stranger Things on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see. Because I heard that season 5 was not getting great reviews. I'm hoping that the finale saves it. But I was just not really feeling it. Critics consensus: Stranger Things plays its cards just right in season 5, solidifying its pop culture classic status with genuinely captivating genre fare. Okay, the audience says, not for the cliffhanger averse. This 5th season of Stranger Things unleashes mind-bending plot twist that throws us with the pack, inching us closer for the long-awaited payoff. Yes, but we're inching and inching and inching, and it's a very slow inch. And I'm just like, I felt like we didn't need to drag it out this long. And the episodes didn't need to be as long as they are because there's just too much happening. Netflix did it again, too much propaganda. I disagree. I don't think that there's a lot of propaganda in this. I think some people are just like, they see the gay thing, they're like, oh, they're trying to push the gay agenda. Oh. It's just like, calm down, guys. Like, not everything is about that. Let's see. Wow. Stranger Things has a 90%. Okay, so I don't know who was saying that it wasn't that well rated. Oh, it's got a 57 amongst fans and an 84 amongst critics. Let's see what fans are saying. 3 out of 5. Despite its flaws, Stranger Things hasn't lost its heart. The reconciliations that work, scenes that are deeply moving, and action sequences that remind us why we're still here. Then why'd you give it a 3 out of 5? It's not flawless, nor is it entirely satisfying in its own terms. As a bridge to the finale, it's crowded but sturdy. Yeah, I would agree with Troy here. I would agree a 3 out of 10. Like, it's a bridge, but it feels like a bridge is the point. Like, I was hoping that we were gonna have banger after banger after like, that each episode was gonna raise the stakes, and it was going to be like, and we were gonna be, like, devastated in every episode in the grand finale of it all. But now it feels like they're really saving the meat to this big um, final ending. Joyce says 4 out of 5 as the finale of Stranger Things debuts. Things are looking pretty familiar with the upside down bleeding through reality and the old gang teaming up once more on separate quests. Charlie gave it a rotten tomato. He said Stranger Things tries to flesh out some of its players further, and it feels like the show is assumes that you still know and love these characters enough that simply seeing their plots wrapped up is enough to make the story stop to make this story satisfying. I mean, I guess a lot of people, Stranger Things is back. One thing incredibly jarring and cringy joke, it's back with vengeance. Less of a horror show and more of a science fiction action adventure. Yeah, but that's the fun of it. Stranger Things is incredibly frustrating because season one works almost perfectly as an enclosed one off story, yet there are now 5 seasons in what is hopelessly convoluted plot and a show about nothing. I wouldn't say it's a show about nothing. I disagree with that. The show continues to deliver moments of interest and tension, but the execution is uneven in several creative directions, particularly in the visuals and pacing, and weaken the impact. Yeah. All right. So some people really liked it and some didn't. Fair. All right. Well, those are my thoughts on Stranger Things. We have the big grand finale that's coming. Isaac says it's great. Fans are just angry because of the stupid theory. I think that's what it is. And the theories did this for me on the what was it? Well, I mean, to be fair, I didn't really go down many of the TikTok theories because I did it for White Lotus season 3, and I started watching all the fan theories, and I was, like, trying to put the pieces together, and then I was so disappointed with what they actually gave us in White Lotus that this time around, I was like, "No, I don't wanna be disappointed. I wanna be able to enjoy Stranger Things for Stranger Things," right? And so I tried to not go down other people's theories, but I was also trying to put the pieces together myself as I was watching. It's like, "Oh, is this gonna happen? Is that gonna who's gonna die? What's gonna" like, I was just, hyping myself up. But I think the theories are ultimately what end up, like, crashing. You should do a live once a week of just recapping TV and films. Maybe I will. Right, these episodes aren't satisfying, just boring, but I'm still gonna I mean, there was some, like, captivating moments, but I would agree the episodes were overwhelmingly a bit slow and boring for me, and that was my initial impression. I even had to rewatch episode 3 a second time to make sure, like, I didn't miss anything. Late, but hello to Zach and Zach Bears. Hi, Elizabeth. Ariana says, I've never seen Stranger Things, but the recap sounds better than the actual episodes. We haven't even seen the actual episodes. Did you see The Housemaid? I have not watched The Housemaid yet. Maybe I will soon, I hope. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me on this Sunday. Happy belated Merry Christmas. And we have New Year's this week. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Yay. All right, guys. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I will talk to you tomorrow on Monday. Ciao. Give me a follow, Just Plain Zach. Follow the podcast at No Filter with Zach, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.